Hello. Welcome to the Trash Picture Show. This is either really, really early or really, really late. The joys of modern technology have have struck, but tonight's stream very impromptu, because of the passing of Arleen Sorkin, the OG Harley Quinn from the Batman animated series. We've decided to have a watch along of the origin episode, not the first episode. She appeared in the first episode. She appeared in was Joker's favor, I think. But yeah, Sorkin originally started off as a soap opera actress in Days of Our Lives, and she slowly built up her career as a voice actress. Um, Christian, what's your thoughts on Arlene Sorkin and her contribution and the character's contribution to the Batman mythos?
Phenomenal addition to the Batman mythos, like you said, because I always found it interesting with Harley, considering like looking back at it compared to how she is now, because now she's like basically one of the pillars of DC at this point. She's up there with like your Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. It's like one of the faces of the company, whereas she had very humble beginnings. She was just supposed to be a little one-off side character because they needed a sidekick for Joker for one episode, but the fans and the creators loved the idea of the character so much and loved Sorkin's performance that they just kept having her appear, and she developing her and ultimately building up to this episode that we're going to be watching later, where we actually really get to see some deeper stuff with the character and kind of a step forward for like female characters in comic book media, a little bit of being having a little bit more to say. Because it wasn't really, at this time, we didn't really get a lot of that. We were just barely starting to get a little bit deeper stuff for male characters, but female characters were especially kind of getting shafted around this time.
And not in the good way?
Yeah, not in the good way. Well, debatable.
Keep in mind as well, this is before Justice League Unlimited, so we didn't have Hawkgirl, we didn't have fucking Wonder Woman. So, and this was even before the introduction of Batgirl into the animated series. So, Sorkin kind of trailblazed. Tara Strong said it herself that she wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for Arlene Sorkin. I was introduced to this character by my friend Charlene. At first, I thought she was just a ditzy character, but Charlene gave me a bunch of comics, and one of the comics I read is based on this episode. Ironically,
yes.
It was made after the series was released. It's called Mad Love. Cara, what's your thoughts on the character?
I mean, initially, because I watched this growing up, so I thought she was a lot of fun. She could at the time have a tendency to become annoying, but that's Harley.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought she was a lot of fun. I like how she annoyed Batman, and you can kind of tell he didn't really like being around her too much, but he still interacted with her.
It's interesting as well that she's one of the few characters who's transitioned from villain to anti-hero fairly well. And I think that might be down to kind of her circumstances, because the character is like a victim of a toxic relationship, an incredibly toxic relationship.
Yeah.
So that's why I think as well. I don't know. It's just something that I think can resonate with women when they're in a bad relationship. I don't know myself. I think that was another reason she might have resonated with young women as well, who have to deal with shit like that. So I'm gonna set the episode up, and again, if it's a watch along, but you can talk as well during the episode if there's anything that you want to bring into the fold as such. So I'm just gonna get set up here. Apologies, guys, because.
Hello, Russell.
Hey, Russell.
Hello, Russell.
while Marty's setting up, I think that I'm not as familiar. Like it says, I'm a professional fake horror fan, and I'm a
professional fake Batman fan.
I'm a really big fake professional comic book fan. So, this is someone kind of on the outside looking in. But I think that is the reason why, because anyone who's come from those kind of relationships, whether they've been in a lot of them or just one, it stays with you. And the person you were before you entered takes your self-esteem, and even when you work your way self back to it, you're still a very damaged person. And Harley is a great example of that, but still has a kindness to her. Like that, I don't know as much about the character as you guys do, but that's the thing, that every little bit I've seen of her, that's what I get. There's this kindness, there's this wounded creature in her, but she's also badass.
You'll actually see that in this, because how the Joker manipulates her. So, guys, have you the episodes set
We're
up?
ready to go? Yeah.
Okay, so press and play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and play.
Darn it! Now it doesn't want to work.
Oh shoot!
Uh-oh.
Pause.
Pausing.
Okay, pausing.
Let me see. I'm trying to refresh and see what that does. I'm like,
Cuss at it. That
Yeah,
always
cuss
helps.
at it unendingly, and maybe hit it with a hammer.
I normally don't talk this way, so I hope if you give me a pass. But goddamn ass piece of shit machinery.
No, you're okay.
My ears.
My pearls, let me clutch them.
Between my legs.
God damn it.
Oh, I've got some dirty words for that, but obviously not what I just said.
Work away, Kara.
I'm
I
a
don't
lot
mind.
better at writing
You know,
erotica than I am horror.
What about, like, how do you see her, Marty? Because you're a very nice guy that doesn't do the whole toxic thing. What is it about Harley for you?
it's just someone who is broken and is trying to I don't think about now to a massive extent, but Harley is a people pleaser, and there's nothing more kind of thing that can be manipulated or can be put down or controlled than a people pleaser.
I mean, if I compare her to my background, like she, it's like people that have been victims, they have a lot of gallows humor. She has that. It's just she comes from a more humorous angle. Like she doesn't, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but she doesn't seem to get as dark or as mopey as some people can. Like she has her moods.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, she still wants to be on the upside, look at the bright side of things, but I mean, like when she has to go dark, she has no problem with it.
She kind of is a scale, because on the one hand, it's childlike wonderment and this very happy, but then like when she goes down, bodies are gonna fall.
Yeah,
and that's the duality of that is very interesting.
Yeah. It's extreme.
What about for you?
I always had a fondness for Harley. I believe my introduction to her was properly the animated series, and I always enjoyed her. And then when I started reading some of the stuff, when I got back into comics, actually somewhat recently, and catching up on what they've done with the character in recent material, I liked a lot of this stuff they did with her. Plus, also the current going animated series for her is also very excellent and does a lot of interesting character stuff with her, especially with the relationship they has with Ivy.
Yeah, because they have a relationship.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Which kind of it's not really talked about in this episode, but there is an episode of the animated series that kind of does at least portray them as gal pals. And Bruce Timm has said that he did kind of want to have them be girlfriends, but censors wouldn't let him at the time.
Yeah,
but that element has also always kind of been with the character too.
Yeah, the Batman the animated series has always skirted the line.
Yeah,
and there's stuff with like characters gassing themselves, like Ra's al Ghul's kind of henchmen gas themselves, and there's a throwaway line. Oh, sorry, Kara, go on.
No, I was just laughing.
There was a throwaway line where they gas themselves, and it's like, oh, they've released nerve agent that made them go out of their mind. That was changed in ADR. They were they poisoned themselves.
Yeah. My favorite instance of this is actually from the very first episode of the series, where the opening has people dying clearly in a flaming building, like crumbling down, and then you just hear this really bad off-screen fireman ADR going, "We got all the people out, it's perfectly safe," even though you can very obviously tell, oh no, they all died. They died.
Christian, how many people fell into bushes or fucking you know those kind of things that are outside the doors of hotels that shade people? Just or bodies of water. Gotham City must have so many bodies of fucking water that people can fly off, fall out of helicopters.
I would have gone crazy taking photos of impaled bodies in tree branches. It was probably beautiful.
I know. Yeah, me too.
Cara, any luck with that episode?
Let me jump back and take a look and see if I can get it.
Cool.
Maybe backing out and backing in, because I know when I did it the first time, it played fresh without any problems.
Okay.
Let's see. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, no
perfectly
problem.
fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And every actress brings a different layer to Harley.
Yeah, they kind of do all have their own feel. There's a distinct feel from Sorkin to Tara Strong to Margot Robbie to, I forget the one who's doing her in the current animated series.
Kaylee Coco.
Yes.
Penny from Big Bang Theory. Ironically, Melissa Ranch also done her.
Who said doing her?
I did not know that, actually. I can't remember. What did she do her in?
It was an animated movie, Batman and Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. She was the one for that. Okay.
And isn't Lady Gaga, or am I
Oh,
dreaming
yeah.
that?
Lady Gaga's doing her in the sequel to Joker.
How do y'all
Yeah,
feel
I'm
about
very-
that?
I'm curious just for the fact that that's going to be apparently a elaborate musical for some reason. That's what has me interested. But I could see Gaga possibly doing something with the role. I don't know.
I mean, I
Well,
love how people went nuts not realizing, dudes, it's not the same universe. They can both
Yeah.
exist.
I know.
It's going to be interesting. I know a lot of people are kind of have very strong opinions one way or the other about it.
Yeah, but it just shows the attachment people have to this character.
I get that.
Well, not
She might
just
be-
that, but possibly just how close-minded you are. Because I'm not stuck on one actor. Like
That's true.
I'm looking forward to seeing her in that Joker sequel. I like seeing her as part of this lighter DC universe with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I think Robbie is finishing up though. I think there's someone else coming in to replace her.
I don't know. I feel like, because with how selective Gunn has been with the people he's keeping, I almost feel like that they're going to probably keep Robbie around.
I
honestly.
thought that as well, but apparently she wants to go.
Okay,
And everyone
I
is-
could see that.
Everyone is saying Samara Weaving because apparently blondes from Australia come from a cloning factory. So you know.
I do love Samara Weaving, so I could see her possibly doing that. But I have grown to be quite fond of Margot Robbie's version of the character. But I could see Weaving being interesting.
He's a lot of fun. Like, that's the reason I got back into Harley.
Yeah.
Cara, would you be annoyed if we went ahead and watched the episode?
Let me see. No, that should be fine. It's just I'm having so much trouble on my end. I know I'm holding everyone up.
You're not.
No,
you're not. You're not.
you're
No, it's
totally
okay.
fine.
It's okay.
The wonders of technology.
I know. It's like,
More
come
like the
on, work now, you turd.
Blunders of technology.
We are now experiencing technical difficulties. Please remain
Yeah.
seated in the vehicle.
Yeah. What is it? The barf bag will drop any minute now. Feel free to have
Yeah.
a piece. Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't able. The Daily Motion, when it didn't bring the link, I keep trying that first link. I tried it the first time it worked. Now it's just.
Could we send her the one if we use?
No,
Car,
it's
we
the
might
same-
have
the same-
one.
It's the same link.
It'd be the,
Oh,
it'd be
oh,
same
it's the same
problem. Yeah,
one.
it'd be the same problem.
Oh,
The
okay.
same stinky linky.
Oh,
Damn
You know,
you,
it's like a
Linky
stinky
Winky.
pinky, but it's a stinky linky. No, you evil thing. I don't want to download crap. I just want to watch this illegal episode.
That's not asking very much.
No. Got my
Everyone
soap
else does it.
dirty next.
Actually, Christian, I'm surprised because you're like me, a fan of her. I'm surprised you haven't picked up any versions of her from the DC.
I haven't. I've had the Birds of Prey one in my cart for a little while, but I just haven't picked any of them up yet.
I don't like the face sculpt on the Birds of Prey one.
That's kind of my issue too. I'm kind of holding out until we get a proper one. Plus, I'm more of a comic collector, and most of the ones that they've done have been based off of Robbie. So
You'd probably have better luck walking into a comic shop where you can actually see them, since they
Yeah.
carry different variety.
yeah,
They might even be able to have like a catalog or something where you can order through.
yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because I mean, I love going into shops and looking at their figures. I don't buy anything, but I mean, I like to look at the dollies, as I call them.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's better as well because you'd be surprised at different kind of sculpts. But like you'd see about 5 of the same figure on a rack, and they have 3 different distinctive sculpts because the factory, some dude was having a bad time in Taiwan trying to fucking feed his family, and he's like, I'm not fucking put in this much effort.
I mean, sometimes
how
you get
dare
like this
he?
crazy detail, and I'm like, dude, I didn't need to see her nips, but I do like that I can see her abs through her shirt.
Yeah. Do they get mad at you when you refer to them as dollies?
I like it.
I mean, I call them dolls.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. I just those.
So rule of thumb, right? For me, this is an action figure. This is a doll. That's.
I know some guys like no, you get like a 3-hour thing. No, these are
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
These are for girls.
Dolls are for girls.
No, well, guys use dolls too. Hello.
Yeah.
Some of them blow up.
Come here. I'm gonna press play, and Cara, if you want to jump in at any point, or whatever, work away. Okay, are you okay if I press play?
Yeah, I'll just hop over and I'll just hang out over here, since
Okay.
I couldn't get the link to work a second time.
Okay. Okay, so set this up again.
Silly little stinky linky. It totally left a stank on me.
Now, okay, so Christian, press and play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play.
Going. Oh yeah, I always like that.
What the fuck are those lights?
I always assume they're like searchlights kind of thing.
I
coming
thought they
down.
were zeppelins or some shit, but they're just fucking lights. Just
Well, that's the thing I always found super cool and loved about BTAS, but I always found funny too, is the fact that it's ambiguous. Like, there's black and white televisions and zeppelins in the air, but like we also have like supercomputers and teleporters. Like, I love the ambiguity on like the technology of this world.
again, it is kind of trying to emulate the whole Tim Burton thing. So it's like 1930s in modern day.
Yeah,
like people are wearing fedoras and driving fucking,
That's a look that needs to come back.
Yeah, it's basically doing the old 50s pulp noir things, but also in the modern day with like advanced technology. Except in Gotham, where they still use like old technology.
Okay, we haven't gotten to the fight yet, it seems. See, I can watch it, but I have to scrub through, so I only get still scenes.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
But that's the closest I can get. When your dog's on the couch, just so you sit on the floor to not disturb him.
Been there.
So, Christian, how long has Jim Gordon been after the Joker and he still can't recognize his voice?
Well, this was season 4, so it was at least a good like 5 years at this point.
Okay, yeah, I
also
Harley.
I always
Sorry.
forget the fact that this takes place after the redesign for season 4. I always
Yes.
think this episode took place earlier in the redesign era.
How did he know?
Just does, because he's Batman.
He has cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
You're losing your edge.
Excuse me, but the teeth were my idea. So's this. That's a real gasser, huh, Mr. J?
I give the punchlines around here. Got it?
Yeah. Watch it, you broad. You're stepping on my toes.
Well, Batsy, it's been a hoot.
I do like the fact that it's like, you know, obviously an abusive husband to grab his wife or girlfriend by the hair, but Joker's like just fucking hauling her along by the cap.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't see that part. I just see where they're at the door, but I really must run.
I really hate these checkups.
Haha, you almost died, Jim Gordon.
I mean, it is a Tuesday for him at this point.
Oh. See, I don't really have obviously like a big enough a clue as to how abusive their relationship was. Like at least in my mind, it's just very broad, like a broad grasp of it.
Yeah. And now for the scene that almost got this episode banned from syndication.
I could totally do something like that.
You're getting some ideas for when you get to Ireland.
Not
aren't you?
ideas, just I've done. That's pretty racist. Not racy, but racy.
Yeah, it's very racy for the time, you know, Aaron and the Negligee. I believe Tim did say out of all the things, that was what nearly got the episode from being pulled.
Oh, the nightgown?
Uh-huh.
And the double entendre as well, she comes up with.
Yeah, the rev up your Harley.
My Peter Griffin laugh.
Yeah.
It's natural. I don't fake it. Yes, I get teased for it. She didn't even bring him a martini or anything.
That's the real problem with this relationship. I also love her just being every Batman fan pointing out, wait, why don't you just shoot him instead of doing these elaborate traps that he can escape?
But I mean, kind of like the Bond villain.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah. There's art here, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact she's talking about like fucking a whoopee cushion like it's a sex like fucking toy.
Yeah.
It could be.
You just gotta have your right mind.
Mitchell, do not bring a whoopee cushion over to this fucking house. There'll be war.
Okay, now I just saw the whoopee cushion reference. The setup today was corny. Meh. But I'm like, what's so bad? She dresses up for him. She was in a little nurse number earlier, and he still complains, leave me alone.
Yeah. But that's actually very true to life. Like, that's actually.
Yeah. A
But-
lot of toxic relationships.
But you think, like, okay, maybe I just don't look good. I know with me, I always thought, okay, it's got to be my problem.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well,
You
they
don't look
convince you that it is, but it never is. It's really them that's dealing with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think she would have worn like a different cap to wear with the nightgown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I accidentally misread that as I'll lure Batman in with my secret hair instead of lair. No, it's
And you do
extra.
want to lash out at people.
Yeah.
I like the lad licking the fucking cell.
Yeah.
He just keeps beating the crap out of Harley in this scene. I don't know how far behind I am. I don't have sound. I'm just scrubbing through.
I'm at 7 minutes 35 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm way
we're at like
behind.
7:15. Yeah.
I'm still at 6:19, so I fell way behind.
Also, just obligatory. God, Mark Hamill is the perfect Joker.
He's brilliant. Are you guys where she's talking to him on the couch?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Jen, would you say like a dude kind of fucking kind of play to sympathies is another manipulative kind of partner tactic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes it's they're doing it on purpose, and sometimes
It's even subconscious.
Yeah.
They don't even recognize they're doing it.
yeah, and if you're the right type of person, you just if you have a lot of empathy for people, it can be very. It's sort of a moth to a flame. You sort of find each other sometimes.
Yes, yeah. The user UZ relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something very sadomasochistic about it, whether you actually get hit or not. That you can definitely see on their face. They get off on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They do. And then a lot of people, like they say it's the daddy cliche, but if you come from that, like if you don't have a good like template of how a guy should treat you, it kind of, I mean, duh, of course you're gonna go because you're not used to that. So any little bit of affection or thing, it's like gold.
Yeah. But if they're too nice, it freaks you out because it's not familiar.
Yes, yeah, you do. You feel like you get uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's something like I've known people who've like they get shocked or they kind of put themselves down because they're like fucking they don't realize that they should be treated decently, and when they are treated decently, they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's like what normal women would go if it was a bad relationship. Not bad, but just yeah.
I think the thing is you're waiting for the shoe to drop, like, okay, when are you going to be a freak and start mistreating me? And when it never happens, it's kind of like you start lashing out at them and being kind of like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've never seen it in Harley, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's had her moments where she starts up with the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of like, it's too calm, it's too peaceful. I can't stand it.
or you just never can relax.
Yeah, you're always on edge.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Like at this fucking stage, when she's cuddling up to the Joker and the orderlies are like there, it's like, get this woman out of here.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of seemed like, from what I was able to grasp earlier, she didn't go there because she wanted a challenge. I think she already happened to be like one of those hags. Like maybe she had a crush and wanted to get close to Joker anyway to begin with.
So
Mhm.
would you say Harley is kind of like one of those women who are like obsessed with Dahmer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a serial
Yeah.
hag. Yeah, they call them hags.
Hmm.
But see, I don't know what you would call it with like this relationship. Like she's a psycho hag, but that makes it sound like she's crazy.
Yeah.
Ouch. I'm not a couch. You deal with what you get. No, just lay down.
Kitty.
She's probably telling me my knees are too bony.
There is also this kind of fucked up thing that Joker has more of like Harley's trying to get Joker's attention when he's obsessed with Batman. So
Yeah.
it's like a fucked up relationship.
The
It's
three-way
like
kind of.
he's in
Yeah.
love with someone else and he's not paying attention to
To
me.
me.
I think that's been implied, and was it the Killing Joke? They kind of imply that Batman and the
Yeah.
Joker had been together.
Yeah, there kind of were slight hintings towards that at certain points in Killing Joke and a few other ones.
Yeah, now you jump off. Yeah, see, I've heard people argue me on that one. Like, no, I got no sense of that. And they'll go back and they'll read the book. They'll go back and rewatch the movie, and it's like, no, they don't. And I'm like, yes, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I think they
it's
do.
very much there.
Yeah, the Joker and Batman, it's a love story.
Yeah, it's a fucked up love story on a lot of ends.
So basically, they've got this lovers triangle thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw this I saw this brilliant kind of screen cap from the 90s X-Men cartoon, and it's got fucking Magneto holding Xavier in his arms, and a caption saying, "You could look at this and see how these two fuckers made their breakup everyone's problem." I love
It's really true. That happens a lot of the time with these stories of like two people who just on complete polar opposites and will do anything to try to kill each other. Yeah.
they kind of
Well,
hinted at that in Unbreakable with like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I interrupted anyone.
No,
No,
you're
No,
no,
you're
fine.
good.
Rick Waker.
No, I was going to say, because, you know, it's kind of like that whole metaphor, and even serial killers have been quoted to say that to kill someone is very sexual because that's the closest you ever get to them. So would you say there's like all this tension between Batman and the Joker? Like,
Oh
since-
yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's foreplay, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
But there's only one person who's enjoying it. So
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy is brilliant as well.
Kevin
His
Conroy
voice.
is the definitive Batman, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I there's no way around it. Was just the definitive Batman for me. When I'm reading a comic, I hear Kevin Conroy's voice.
Yeah.
And one thing I've always found interesting about this is, whereas a lot of the times when you have Batman like entrapped in a Joker booby trap or something, he'll usually escape through like some sort of gadget or something. Whereas this, no, he like kind of not really emotionally manipulates, but uses Harley's emotions against her to get out of the trap, because otherwise he doesn't really see any other way out, because she entirely has the intent to kill him with this.
Yeah, emotional intelligence.
Yeah. He has to go through a different route to escape the trap,
Yeah.
as opposed to a usual episode.
I mean, which is ironic because she's what, a psychologist, so she
Yeah.
should know
Yeah.
all the tricks.
If you go by the I think Dini done another comic. She actually wasn't properly qualified. She slept with her college professor to get the degree.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a case in one of the other comics Dini wrote for it. And I forget if that's canon to current continuity or not, but I believe it might be.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Oh, sorry, Christian.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, if I recall, the current continuity was she wanted to be a gymnast, but her father didn't think she always wanted to be a psych. Her father didn't think she was smart enough, so she became a gymnast, and then she slept her way to get the psychology degree later. I believe that's the current continuity. I could be wrong about that though.
Which is interesting because the father.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm misunderstanding the whole thing. Like the gymnast thing, like was it because she was interested in becoming a circus performer, or
she was a gymnast? Like I believe that's the current continuity. Was she was like a Olympic level gymnast?
Yeah,
that's why she has the acrobatics and stuff.
Yeah, she got into college via scholarship through gymnastics, and then wanted to take a degree in psychology from there.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I don't know too much of her background. Kind of like how Jen says, I'm the casual viewer. So not too much in the know about Harley.
Again, pretty brutal.
Yeah, they were actually going to show the slap, but they had to cut it because censors were like, "No, that's too much. We can't run Sunny D commercials in front of this."
But I mean, that doesn't really make sense. You still get.
Oh yeah, you still get it, but they just couldn't. The censors had a problem with them actually showing him hitting her.
I get that.
So, and probably just another silly question, I just don't know any better, but was there ever anything between Harley and Batman?
Isn't there some?
I'm trying to think, Marty.
There is. There's a story called White Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the White Knight universe.
It's fucking weird. So the Joker becomes a good guy. Harley decides to help him, and the whole thing is the Joker only exists because of Batman, and Batman makes the city worse. So when the Joker is cured, he decides to take out Batman. Harley later decides, you know what, I actually prefer Batman than the Joker, because he's still he's exciting, he's interesting. And yeah, she has one kid with the Joker and one kid with Batman. Bruce Wayne.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know about that. I knew about that Batman has two kids, one with Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Talia.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah.
And in the current
Selena's
run, he
the
has
second mom, I think.
Sorry?
Selena's also one of the moms, is that correct?
Yeah, she has Helena. In some of the comics it's Bartonelli, but it's Helena Wayne, which is the new Huntress.
Yeah.
Yeah. She eventually becomes paralyzed, I think.
No, that's Batgirl.
That's Barbara Gordon. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've got my
the original
people.
Batgirl. Yeah.
Still more than I know.
See, I'm kind of there. I just get stuff mixed up. But there's
It happens.
That's fair. It's almost like there's 70 or nearly 100 years worth of continuity to try and keep track of with these characters.
I mean, at least I'm not like some dummy saying, getting Pennywise confused with, I forget who else is a clown. It just slipped me.
Art.
Art.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, that's a better one. But I mean, like, yeah, I've dated guys who don't even know anything about horror, and I'm like, really? It's like Batman. Oh my God, Freddy Krueger, Jason, like they're the basics. You don't know anything about them, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm dating you. I mean, it would be nice to like meet like a proper horror guy one day. I just keep winding up with normies.
Poor girl.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh, at least maybe people that don't really like cinema at all.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
Any
that
genre.
ending. That ending is a kick to the balls.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Sorry.
We're buffering a little bit, but we're pretty much to there.
Just wait till Jen sees it. Be like, what the fuck?
We're just buffering to where we're right at the end of the train fight.
I'm like, holy schnizzle, I think it's raining outside. Or maybe it was wishful thinking.
Yeah, Russell, this is from the final season, The New Adventures, where they changed the thing.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill is amazing, though.
Yeah, you're realizing why everyone hypes up Mark Hamill as like the definitive one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the first episode of the animated series you've seen.
I've seen little bits and bobs, but I've never sat down and watched a whole thing.
Episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Thunder.
Oops, sorry, Cara.
Oh no, I was saying I just heard thunder. Sorry, I was just talking to myself.
Have you gotten to the bit where Harley's in her cell, guys?
Yeah, we just got to that.
Oh, okay,
And it's
I'm not
buffer.
there yet. Because I'm scrubbing through slowly so I can read the captions. So at least I can follow what's going on.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, sorry, ours is buffering. There we go.
I'm interested to know what Jen thinks of that ending.
Ew.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's a great ending. It's a gut punch, but it's a great ending.
And that's very true to life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like like in a relationship like that, the guy can be absolutely heinous and then do
One good thing.
kind of gesture, and it's like, oh, I can fix him, I can change him.
Well,
Is that
it's called breadcrumbing. It's like you get so much bad behavior and neglect that when something actually does happen in your favor, it's like this little gold nugget, and you go nuts over it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Something very eerily similar happened to me.
Really?
And it was, yeah,
Okay.
it was. Yeah.
I won't pry anymore.
No.
Yeah.
But very early similar and stuff, and like you, yeah. But you cherish those things because it's like, wow,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, see, everybody's wrong. They really do care. They really do love me. It's
Yeah. It's everyone else who doesn't see the good in them.
Yeah. You just got to look a little harder. Okay, he's done a few things, but we can forgive him. It'll work out. You're no saint either.
Yeah.
But the thing is, eventually you wise up and you start realizing he's playing me again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes even when you recognize what you're doing, it's still
You just want it to be true so much.
he's a project? I can fix him.
Yeah.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
So, now, for me, it was never to change somebody.
Mhm.
It was just desperately looking for. And I thought that with one particular person, I thought they'd had such a rough time. If I gave them enough love, it would be okay.
It would be okay, and that would fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still fits the profile of what a toxic person looks for.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Like it's not up to people to try and fix other people. The only person that can fix a person or
Is
become a better
themselves.
person is themselves. Yeah.
True. It's true. But when you're young, you think, oh, love can really, I guess in a way that's a top bad message. It's not a bad idea inherently, but with some people who've had rough backgrounds, telling them, love will overcome.
Love conquers all.
Yeah.
Car's gone.
Uh-oh.
She'll pop back. Jen,
Yeah.
all in all, do you think again, that was the Batman animated series was the tip of the top when it came to writing. For it didn't pander. It had something to say. Do you think that did a good kind of job at kind of emulating the elements and processes and emotions that go through like a toxic relationship?
I think it did an excellent job, and I like the fact that they and they did it in a very mature way. Like they managed to get it so kids can get like on a level for kids, but they didn't dumb it down and hell. I've seen some like Lifetime movies that didn't get some of the nuances.
They were more childish than this.
Yeah, or a little more
simple.
Yeah, and this is actually, especially, I love that closing scene with the
flower.
rose, and stuff, and you just kind of go, okay, yeah. You're just so desperate to find something.
Yeah.
Sorkin again, the rest in peace. She definitely gave this kind of innocence and naivety to the character. Do you think another actress could have done that character justice? Another voice actress? Again, that's hard to say because kind of she was a pioneer when it came to female voice actresses.
Probably another actress could. It might not be. It wouldn't probably be that same one, but probably with you're given such a meaty role, it would be interesting to see everyone's interpretation.
It's so hard to do, especially especially hard to say for a character like Harley, where she was designed for this one specific person to play her originally and played her for so long. It's kind of hard to say necessarily.
She definitely made the role her own.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like the role would not have ever been nearly as iconic if it wasn't for Sorkin's performance.
Like you could see someone else replace Adrienne Barbeau in that series as Catwoman, but I don't think you could see someone replace Sorkin.
Yeah,
in that run of the cartoon, at least, anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Like, I feel like Hamill and Conroy were like the two most iconic ones, but I feel like Sorkin was also kind of one of those definitive voices from the animated series that when you're, at least with me, when I'm reading a Batman comic, and these characters are in it, the voices I hear in my head are these
the animated
versions
series.
of the ones. Like some other characters, it's other versions from other series or other movies. But always consistently when I'm reading stuff with these characters, it's always Kevin Conroy as Batman. It's always Mark Hamill's voice, and it's always Arleen Sorkin's. Even though I've heard Tara Strong in plenty of stuff or any other version of Harley, it always does come back to the original. It does come back to Sorkin.
Even though I think John Bernthal is my favorite Punisher, back in the day when I started reading Punisher comics, Thomas Jane's voice.
I can see that.
It's interesting actually. Jen, when is there ever been a case where you've seen a movie before you've read a book?
And you hear the voices and change your...
Yeah, I have actually. There's been there has been where you do that. I can't think of the one, but yeah, there is one where I do hear the voice of the character. There's some so iconic.
Not to speak for you, but I know one you always say is like, granted you saw the movie after, but you always hear Fred Gwynn when you're reading Pet Sematary. You always hear that voice for Judd.
Yes, and I see him for Judd like that, and that's pretty much what I pictured. What I pictured when I was reading the book. I read the book first, but that's exactly what I pictured was the movie. Even though
Cara, have you ever read a comic or a book that had like a property based on it, and as a result of watching the property, you allocate the actor's voice to the book or the comic?
I'd say so. Like, and I agree on the voice thing. Like, for example, I love and watch the Hannibal films. I've watched the first 3 for years and years, and last year it finally dawned on me. You've been saying for years you want to read them. I'm like, this year's your year, so I finally did it. And yeah, same thing. It's like I heard the actor's voice. I saw their faces.
Hopkins' voice and everything.
Yeah, I saw his face. It's like there was no like I was making anything up. It's just I read the movie is what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was? This is totally off the thing, but I have to ask, which one's your favorite with the Hannibal books? Which one's your favorite?
That's a tough one because I mean Hannibal obviously has a very different ending from the original.
Yes.
Yeah, but I really don't like that too much. I mean, I kind of like them playing cat and mouse. I found that a lot more romantic than Hannibal finally gets the girl.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just
it's
found
Red
it
Dragon.
flattering. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I just wondered. I Red Dragon was my favorite. I loved all the books, but definitely Red Dragon was my favorite out of that series.
I'd have to go with the second book, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
That one
That's
is
a great one.
Red Dragon I would put last. Like, well, I mean, it still has its interesting points. It's just I'm so familiar with the first two stories. That's the only reason I bump it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still really good.
I totally can get that. I totally get that. It's always interesting hearing people. Sorry, Mark. This has nothing to do with anything. It's
No,
just
no,
I
no,
had
no,
to
no,
ask.
no. I
We're
spurned
just
the
book
topic.
geeking.
I spurned the topic again. It's just interesting when, like, you know, because like going back and reading Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, and then like fucking the descriptions of certain actors and characters. For example, when I read I went back and read Crichton's Jurassic Park, and the description of Muldoon, the character played by Bob Peck, he was more close to the Australian actor Brian Brown. I don't know if you know who Brian Brown is. He was
I
in
do.
Oh yeah,
the different
blame
FX. Yeah, he's just that's what Muldoon's description was like. So it's like your head's hardwired to think of certain actors, but then when they're like, oh, and he ran his fingers through his bushy mustache as he thought what he was going to do next. So it's like that character never. Sorry, Jen. Go on.
Oh no! You just you undid a thing in my brain. I actually do have an example of this because The Shining. Because Shelley Duvall is, but it bothers me because when I read the book, it's like she's not brunette, she's blonde. But like Shelley Duvall is what I think of her when I read The Shining. But that was when I was a kid. That just bothered the hell out of me. Yeah, it's like she's blonde in the book. So I can understand that.
I love that. That's the thing when you were watching the original Shining
it
for the
bothered
first time.
Me.
That's the thing you hyperfixate on from the differences from the book.
Well, I really like the character of Wendy, and I love Shelley Duvall's performance, but because she was a beautiful blonde, and Shelley Duvall's real pretty, but she wasn't.
She has a very different look than what she was.
Doesn't the groundskeeper survive the book as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and the Overlook freezes. Doesn't it in the or no? It burns to death. It burns in the original, and then it freezes in Kubrick's version. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's fires and stuff, but yeah.
I mean, I was going to say like how you feel about Wendy. They did the same thing with Carrie. I mean, she was a chubby brunette.
That's
in the
true.
film. She was a thin blonde. Even the dress was a different color and fabric.
Yeah.
That one can kind of, because I do like the passage in the book of Carrie, because when her crush actually looked, he just never really looked at her. They grew up together, and then for the first time when he really looked at her, he realized she was far from repulsive.
Yeah.
So that kind of like it, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I totally get what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, it's just little small things, but it's like you get used to seeing it a certain way on film, and then when even if it's just revisiting a book, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot her hair was a different color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, like watching a film adaptation can be a double-edged sword, because in one way it can improve upon it, and you might love the book, and then you watch the movie adaptation and you're like, Jesus, this is way fucking better. Why did I read that piece of shit? It's like it's weird. So in some ways the books, like the novelizations, can be great, but then a movie comes along and surpasses it, because the producer director has a lot more writers behind them, so they can iron out the nuances, and then it ends up making the author look like a fucking idiot, or the author look like
Well, what's worse is when the author's even part of writing the screenplay for the movie, and the movie's better than the book. Mm-hmm. It's like, how could you do one better?
You fucked up. George R. R. Martin. Now, the last season wasn't great, but the House of the Dragon, he says, "Oh my God, I wish I had some of these writers helping me with this book." And you're like, "You wrote the fucking thing, dude.
You wrote the fucker."
But
you did something right if something's based off of your work.
Yeah.
Guys,
Dragons are coming.
Someday.
I'm gonna round it up here, but before I do, Jen, Christian, what's on the horizon?
Well,
Well, thanks.
thanks. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Okay, so
I'm feeling-
probably
yes.
Okay. Well, in a couple hours, probably. What time is it? Probably about like 3 or 4 hours or so. We'll be doing our own stream. Continuing on. Last week, we did a tier list ranking some horror icons, and we're going to continue on with that, ranking some more horror icons in about 4 or 5 hours over on our channel.
Yeah, and guys, you know everyone in the horror YouTube, they're all real horror fans, but you never heard fake horror
You
fans.
hear all kinds of true horror fans. You never hear these opinions from proper fake horror fans like us.
Yeah.
Exactly. I for one was impressed where they put Michael Myers from Camp Crystal Lake
Yes.
on their list.
Yes. Michael
Um,
Myers, our favorite Camp Crystal Lake killer.
Yeah,
Greatest
yeah.
one. I
He's
love that
from the
part where
next
he
camp
gets in.
over.
Yeah, I love the part where he invades that girl's dreams in Texas. It's great.
Yeah.
In
And that
Texas.
Freddy Krueger in Texas with
Yeah.
that cannibal family.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I love that movie where that kid Andy finds a leprechaun and his mother tries to put
Oh,
him into the
man.
fire. But
That'll be a thing we'll be doing a little bit later. And I don't know if you can tell by the pumpkins, but the seasons are changing. October is soon to
Yeah.
be upon us. So stuff might be
Finally.
coming for
fun
that.
fact, time moves differently in New Mexico. The sun
That's true. Yeah.
sun
Yeah.
travels
Secretly,
around
it's
faster.
October right now for us. Secretly. Yeah. That's why the pumpkins are up. It totally has nothing with us pre-filming videos or anything.
No, we don't do that.
Nothing at all. No.
So yeah,
Y'all
again,
are
guys,
good YouTubers.
be sure to check out my gorgeous girlfriend and Sparky's fantastic stream later on. Be sure to check that out. Cara, what do you want people to keep their eyes peeled for coming soon?
Well, we're changing the date out of just because it's easier, but Night's coming on the show. Let me see, was it Sunday the 2nd? And we're going to be talking about Guns Akimbo.
Ooh, that's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, I
cool.
like that one.
That is a good flick. Were you supposed to do Cocaine Bear as well, or are you pushing that back to a later date?
We already did Cocaine Bear yesterday. I have no idea what my deal is. I slept all day. Unfortunately, poor Eric. So we had to reschedule for Renfield.
Oh, Renfield. Sorry,
Yes.
Renfield,
I
yeah.
totally sorry. I got my fucking senior moment. I was like, shit. I knew it was when I said it. I was like, no, they already done Cocaine Bear. But so Renfield. So you'll probably do that at some stage down the line, right? Though.
He wants to do it towards the end of the month.
Okay.
I know you and I were talking about possibly
Vi.
doing another one. Yes.
Vi. And
Excellent.
I had good crack doing the Devils and the Alien stream. That was a good one. Although I think poor Cara was like, does this fucker ever shut up
The
about
answer
No,
is
the
no.
Alien universe?
I was listening honestly, and I'm kind of like, I kind of felt like, man, I sound like I don't know anything. So it was more just the opposite of
No,
that.
the difference is, Cara, you have a fucking life.
You have the healthy amount of knowledge for that
Yes.
franchise. He has an unhealthy amount of knowledge.
Like me with penises.
Yes, like you with penises or me with anything really.
What you mean penises? Whose penises are you talking about?
Irish penis singular.
So other fucking Irish dudes. This is fucking.
Oh, come on, be honest. You watch.
Darling,
Odds
I know
for
I'm
the
like a
Willies.
virgin and stuff now, but those years before I met you, the
I'm
kid.
here.
You told me he was an immaculate conception.
I told you Jake was an immaculate conception.
I'm secretly the child of God.
That would explain some stuff.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so with that, we'll end it here. But yeah, guys, R.I.P. to Arleen Sorkin.
Yeah.
The OG
absolutely.
Harley Quinn. She kicked arse. She without her, we wouldn't have an awesome character. And there's a lot of voice actresses out there that wouldn't have careers if it wasn't for her. So as well, guys, if you want, exactly, Trailblazer indeed. If you want, leave your favorite episode of Batman the animated series with Harley in it, or Also, let me know who your favorite representation of Harley is. Is it Margot Robbie? Is it the version from the games by Tara Strachan? Is it Arlene herself? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, big thanks to my gorgeous girlfriend and Sparky. And big thanks to Cara, aka the Horror Retrospective. Make sure you check these channels out. And yeah, have an awesome Sunday, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Be excellent to each other.
Bye-bye.